Hello, all you beautiful people. It's Daramuth, and welcome back to another video. I know this isn't a live stream. I'm hoping to do one later. I really would like to be able to do both YouTube and Rumble, but unfortunately, you have to have a certain amount of people follow you in Rumble to do a live stream. So it's kind of like I'd only be able to do one. So right now I'm not gonna do a live stream. I'll try tomorrow because I haven't played around with it, and so maybe it will work, maybe it won't. But I'm on a free StreamYard, so I only have so many minutes to play around with. Unfortunately, 1 sec. Sorry. Anyway, um, so man, yeah, my title is "The World is Screwy, Loose Even," and I've been kind of just looking at the news and stuff, and the news can make you feel that way, but is it really? I think being connected to the internet as we are nowadays allows the perception to seem so. However, without the communication of what we have now, it's possible it is, or not, or somewhere in between. And I always, not always, but there are times where I stop and think about what is the true outlook, right? What is the true outlook, whether you're doomsday person or UFO person or whatever person or political whatever. It's always a wonder when we take this perception of self, the perception that's been built up through our lives as kids. Our parents build up a perception of the world they view and see, and they try to teach us this knowledge that will help us. They'll try to teach us these tools that they've been taught to some degree to be able to examine and what's the word? Be able to unenigma the world, in essence, to decipher it. That's right, to decipher the world and try to find some semblance of something to grab onto that's consistent, that allows us to have some sort of balance in our lives. Some of that's religion, some of that's a hobby, maybe some of that's um, a, a work project or something someone does. The issue is that the world is both a wonder and a mess. And what I mean by that is that while people say they're while some people say there's the world's not a duality, whatever, it's multiple things. I can agree to that. But human beings have a point of period where they can't go farther beyond. It's like a choice, right? If you were to give someone 3 choices, it's a lot easier than 10 choices. They'll start looking at details like a price, uh, whatever the thing is, the efficiency of, and all this stuff, in order to decipher what is the best option. If you were to give them 3, the decision gets easier because there are less options to worry about. There are less things to have to decipher. So we'll just pick because it's a good look or whatever, or price, or just 1 or 2 things. But when you shuffle down the choices need to be chosen for anything, you you have less brain power being used in order to get something figured out. And and it's just a fascinating thing. And I know people say it's I know I've seen people say, it's the world's not black and white. There's some gray areas, which I agree with, but I do think a majority of life, to an extent, is black and white. And why is that? Because there's some pieces of context where it's shown that it is black or white. So let's take an example: life and death. That's a black and white. There are no other inferences. There's nothing beyond life or death. I mean, through a religious aspect, that's the afterlife. But the point of the matter now that we as human beings understand, and the bigger part, is that there's life and there's death. And there's, for the moment, there's nothing else that we know of. So that's an occasion of black and white. Another black and white notion I've seen is um, uh, team choosing or something that matter. It's I'm trying. I had it and then I forgot it, so I'll come back to it. But there is a big chunk of things perceived as black and white because at a sundering point, people want to use the shortcuts, the mind shortcuts, the lesser power. This is where psychology comes in because it's this thing that we live by. If you have ever studied psychology or studied some, well, read some book or whatever where it talks about nature, it once you study on that, you become aware of something you never thought before. So think of this way. Think of this way. Um, there is an effect called a bystander effect, and what this means is sort of like if there's an attack, right? And you've seen this all in the news. Someone gets attacked in a bus or whatever, but no one goes up to help them. Well, part of the reason is the trouble they could get into. Part of the reason is they don't want to risk their own life, and there are many different variables to it. But it only takes one or two people in order for everyone else to get into it. Maybe not all, but more and more people may get involved because that's the part of social proof right there. Now, I know I'm speaking out of my butt, but there's a book I read a long while ago. I'm starting to read it again. It's called Influence by Dr. Cialdini. And if you've never had an opportunity to read it, it's a good. I know it says it's for marketing and stuff, or it says something for marketing, but the thing of it is that this is an everyday thing in human nature. It'll name 6 different categories like commitment consistency, which is considered one, liking, scarcity, reciprocity, and all this other stuff. And after reading it, my eyes were opened a bit to where I may not fully understand, but you see something. You get this prism, right? You get this prism that totally changes your view a bit. Not a whole lot, maybe a little, maybe you don't, not at all. But if you accept just a little bit, your view starts to change and you wonder, wait, why are they fighting over something that, there's something here and there that everyone's been an inference to? What about this? What about that? All this stuff. And social media, as I spoke last time, is this sort of coming of consciousness that maybe it's not everyone online, but it's certainly a big chunk. And Twitter, again, is a big boiling pot of this. It's the new melting pot. America was considered the melting pot. Now the internet and these social media sites are the new melting pot. They have been for ages. As long as internet has become around. And the question becomes, how do you navigate it? What do you watch out for? Who can you trust? This or that? I don't have an answer for that because even I'm still learning. And and that's a lesson in itself that's worth learning. So I know it's a bit talking about my butt, but it's just a personal opinion. It's a personal perspective, a reflection of what I've seen throughout my time living, and of course a few books I read. So if you have a notion or are interested, go look for a book called Influence by Robert Cialdini. Look it up, give it a shot, and maybe you might learn something. Maybe you won't even care. Who knows? But if you like the content of an opinion or whatever I bring, please give a like, give a share, maybe follow, so that I can one day live stream, of course, instead of doing these videos, but so that I can speak directly to you and have this back and forth conversation of these conversations that could get deep or repetitive or whatever, and see where it goes. Because a lot of times people want to be heard, but there's never enough time, or you know how it goes. Everyone gets busy with stuff. So anyway, thank you for coming to watch my video. If you do, thank you for if you still keep coming. I hope to make more stuff so that we can all have a chat. We can all talk about our perspectives and maybe find something worth learning about. But anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day. Look out for yourselves. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye.